2 News Daybreak.
Well, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm Alex Rose here with Pinpoint meteorologist Jessica LaBelle. Looks like we got a beautiful day chalked up for you for your Sunday.
Oh, that's right, Alex. We couldn't ask for a better forecast for a Sunday here in October. High temperatures will hit the 70s today. So let's get straight to the forecast. I do want to show you guys a live look outside today. On your Bacchus and Shanker Skycam, we do have clear skies. And you can see this view of, this is a camera downtown looking over the city. A lot of sun and a lot of people are going to be spending time outside today enjoying this gorgeous weather. Temperatures out at the airport starting to heat up. We're at 42 degrees downtown, sitting at 35. And we do have a light breeze out of the southwest at about 9 miles per hour. Current temperatures 28 in Greeley. It is chilly up there. 17 in Dillon, 11 in Gunnison. Jacket weather as you head out the door this morning. But in your hour-by-hour forecast, we're going to heat things up quickly. 61 degrees by noon, 70 by 4 o'clock this afternoon. And if you need to get out and rake the lawn, a great day for yard work. We are going to be seeing no rain chances for the next 3 days. Those winds staying light and the ground will be dry. If you're headed out to that Broncos game today, I'll have that forecast coming up in the next 10 minutes. Alex?
Thank you so much, Jess. A developing story this morning, the Saddle Ridge fire burning near Los Angeles. Just look at those images right there. It's nearly 8,000 acres, but firefighters are still gaining ground right now in an active battle. Officials now say that the fire is 33% contained. The winds are dying down in the San Fernando Valley and evacuation orders have been lifted, but the damage has been done. 31 buildings were destroyed and some people are coming back to nothing.
I just paid off my house last month. I made the last payment and I was so happy that my house is paid off. I don't have to worry about the payment anymore, but this happened.
Even though people are going home, the fire danger is still very high. Another fire burning in the area, the Sandalwood fire, is now 68% contained. That fire is being blamed for 2 deaths. And at least one Colorado Fire Department is in California actively helping battle the fires. West Metro Fire sent out a picture last night showing 4 crew members. Here's that picture right there on your screen, who are headed west. They say the first destination is to the Los Angeles area.
I just pulled a man out of that fire, Tyler, and there was a woman in there still, and she did not survive.
Just heartbreaking to hear that, and crazy video. That's the voice of Trevor Scholhammer, who rescued a man after an explosion in Pagosa Springs Friday night. That man, 72-year-old Fred Phillips, is now fighting for his life in the hospital. Scholhammer and his father were working when they heard the explosion from across the street. The two sprang into action.
When my dad pulled him out, the first thing that he had said is, "We just reported a gas leak."
And there was a woman inside the house too, but the father and son couldn't help save her. Her body has been found. Her name has not yet been released. And we're working to learn what led up to someone being killed by a light rail train yesterday morning. We first brought you this story as breaking news. Denver police say it happened around 7:30 a.m. near West Bayard Avenue and South Cherokee Street. The crash involved a southbound D-line train. The victim was rushed to the hospital and died. A short time later, that person's name hasn't been released. And happening today, the Indigenous Peoples Day celebration continuing in Boulder. Hundreds of people gathered at the main library yesterday for the event, which puts a spotlight on a very important issue. Channel 2's Matt Morrow has the story.
Boulder is well known for all of its beauty. But today, it's being honored for all of its history and all of the indigenous people who once called the valley home.
There is many village sites in the Boulder area, so this is a very sacred place. And what better a place to have a powwow?
Accolade Brown helped organize this powwow where dancers from different Native American tribes compete in front of a crowd and share their heritage.
Culture makes you who you are.
This is the second year Boulder has celebrated Indigenous Peoples Day.
We're still here. We're your friends, we're your neighbors, some of us are your teachers.
This year, this dance that Accolade is a part of is for all the Native American women who can't be here. Just before the dance, this mural in Boulder's Dairy Arts District was dedicated for missing and murdered Indigenous women who, according to the Justice Department, have murder rates at 10 times the national average. This is where the day really hits home for Accolade, who can't help but remember her childhood friend who was kidnapped and beaten.
She died in the ambulance after they found her in a parking lot about 100 miles away from home.
Accolade hopes awareness with events like this prevent that from happening to other Native American women while they remind people of Boulder's heritage.
And again, that celebration continuing today. Many will also celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day tomorrow instead of Columbus Day. Turkey continues its push into Syria as fighting with Kurdish forces continues. Turkey continues to say that they will not stop until they create a buffer zone and, quote, every last terrorist is neutralized. All this almost 1 week after the White House announced the U.S. is pulling troops from the area. So it's hard to get an accurate count of the death toll on each side as both sides exaggerate the number of fighters killed. But we do know there have been civilians killed on both sides as well. The UN estimating as many as 100,000 people are trying to get out of that area to escape the fighting. Today, the local Kurdish community is rallying at the state capitol at noon. And looking ahead for dog owners, the off-leash dog park at Cherry Creek State Park, which is estimated to draw in more than 1 million visitors a year, is going to be closing for the next couple days. Channel 2's Lisa D'Souza joins us live. Lisa, you have the best assignment of the day. You're hanging out with dogs. How does it look out there?
I get to hang out with cute dogs all morning. This is awesome. Well, the view is awesome, and there are a lot of dogs. It's easy to tell why they say that this is one of the biggest attractions for Colorado State Parks. They actually estimate that about 200 people and pets pass through this area every hour. That's just incredible to me. So that's exactly why they need to close down for a few days. They're doing some maintenance work, and because of that, they're going to be closing down tomorrow through Thursday. You can see they've got a whole lot of space to cover on this maintenance work. This area of the park, this off-leash dog park, is huge, and of course the dogs are just loving it, have plenty of room to run around. So some of the things that they'll be doing while they're out here, they're going to be expanding some of these entrances and exits and make this whole bullpen area a bit bigger because there's so many people and dogs, of course, coming through. Again, while this is all happening, they'll also be doing some seeding on the grass and some other erosion control work as well. So they'll be needing to close down tomorrow through Thursday. So make sure if you're planning to come out that you don't come out until Friday, of course. Then people will get to come and see a whole new park with a lot more space for these dogs to run around. We are live at Cherry Creek State Park. Lisa D'Souza, Channel 2 News.
And thanks, Lisa. A heads up if you're heading to the Broncos game today. The team is encouraging you to get there just a tad early for a pregame ceremony when several members of the top 100 team will be announced. The ceremony is set to begin at 2 p.m. with a kickoff slated for 2:25. And at halftime, you can't miss this moment. Champ Bailey getting inducted into the Ring of Fame. So we got a short week for the Broncos, facing Tennessee today and then having to turn around and host the Chiefs next Thursday. The Broncos will need to flip the switch to prepare for one of the toughest teams in the league, but at least they don't have to travel for this stretch, which is good. But these games are going to set the tone for the rest of their season. And as veterans know, they got some digging to do.
And at the end of the day, we got a very deep hole, right? So, I mean, we're not out of the hole. So I don't know if it's excitement or the focus to say it's no time to get excited. It's no time to pat ourselves on the back. We still looking up saying, man, we got a long ways to go to get ourselves out of this hole.
And at the Ring of Honor ceremonies Friday night, John Elway bristled at reports attributed to him that the trade block is filling up for the Broncos. And he was candid about the difficulty of being off to a 1-4 start.
I think the hardest thing about losing is you get in a situation to where something bad happens in a game and you say, here we go again. And that is a very tough thing to break. You know, it's not enjoyable. But all we can do is continue to work, and not a whole lot we can do now except try to play better.
Play better. And just a reminder, we will have all your local headlines following today's afternoon NFL game right on our news partner on Fox 31 at 5 and 5:30. And before the Broncos take the field, we have a fantastic matchup for you on our news partners at Fox 31. You got the Seahawks taking on the Browns at 11 a.m. right after Fox NFL kickoff and Fox NFL Sunday. Then, don't forget, next week, you can watch the Broncos take on the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football, also on Fox 31. All-day coverage of the game starts at 4:30 a.m. We've also got pregame coverage on the news at 5 on Thursday and a complete wrap-up of arguably the most important game of the year, and we are on it.
That's right, Alex. I'm meteorologist Jessica Lavelle. And speaking of the Broncos, if you're headed out to Empower Field at Mile High today to cheer them on as they take on the Titans, the weather's going to be fantastic. Clear skies, light winds out there, and warm conditions. By the time that game kicks off, temperatures right around 67 degrees. We will hit 70 by halftime, and when that game's ending, down to the mid-60s. I'll let you know when to expect a cool down here on the Front Range coming up in Colorado's most accurate forecast.
Hoping that cool down is delayed. Thanks, Jess. The search for survivors continues in New Orleans after part of a building came crashing down. What we learned about the investigation overnight. And wouldn't it be nice to have a place where you could bring your broken things in and work with a volunteer coach to learn how to fix it for free? We have a guest in studio who offers just that.